And welcome to the Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show, presented by Mattress Firm, after show reunion. We just tacked all the words together. I'm your host for this, Jeff D. Lowe, alongside almost all of Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show, presented by Mattress Firm. To my right, we have the final four: Jordan Woodruff, Lil Sass, Smitty, and the winner of the show, Tommy Smokes.
Nah, dude.
More of an applause.
Actually, now
I just want to know.
now that we're far enough away from it, that was.
Real quick, I did notice when Jordan almost drowned in the tank, when she said, "I'm going to keep playing." Tommy clapped, Smitty clapped, no clap from Sass.
Well, Sass tried to drown her
it
with his
was-
bare hands. In
Tommy
that tank.
tried to clap and then he stopped because no one else was clapping.
You were hands in your pocket. Well, you felt bad too. You're like, it's almost my fault. To my left, we have Billy Football, Vibs, and the host of the show. We're double hosting.
Yes, sir.
Roan, not here. I almost said White Sox. White Sox Dave is not here. He's also not on the show. Sydney and Bree unable to make it today. First question, and this is mostly directed at three people because I would say,
That's super embarrassing.
Bro,
It's actually Sydney and Bree. And they wanted to
You
let
really
you know
are.
that they wish they could have been here today, but
Thank
Bree's
you.
in California and Sydney's, she got an 18-point buck underneath her fucking knee right now.
Yeah, there it is.
Living off
Rowan
the
and
fat
I
of
were
the land.
actually in California this morning, but
So was I. I
So
was
was-
there too.
oh, Tommy was there as well.
Tommy was also there.
Priorities, though, I guess.
Oh,
I
you're
don't know.
Left on the red eye.
a little snipe
Haven't
across the
slept-
country.
Haven't slept in 48 hours. Had to be
Vibs,
here.
you seem fine in the. I'm basing everything off the show we just watched. You seem fine. You seem pretty content. Not Billy at all.
I'm fine right
You
now.
were so but
Oh,
no one's seen this. Like,
Oh,
since
yeah,
then.
yeah.
You were very angry, very angry,
In the finale.
like super fucking angry in the finale of that show. You told him it was like real world. Shut the fuck up. You say he's a piece of shit outside the show, which would imply right here. He's implying that you are a piece of shit right here. And Smitty, some bad blood with Tommy as well. You were not pumped.
Smitty's
find
just
out.
as angry right now as he was.
I can tell he is. Smitty has been stewing all day, and I actually watched the episode for the first time at my desk today, and Smitty sits right across from me, so just loudly playing the whole show all day with Smitty right there. I'll start with you because your anger is a little more directly affected by the fact that you didn't win in the finale. You were very mad at Tommy. You found out after the vote that he didn't vote for you. You kind of assumed that the one vote was for you. It was actually Vibs. Where do we stand now? How's the blood now? I mean, you're literally on a team together at this company in a whole nother show, which you also won, by the way.
That we did. Right now, everything's fine. But after the show, I was very upset. A couple things that I took away from it. Number one, even though I said my confidence level was that of 2008 Cole Hamels in the playoffs, who won NLCS and World Series MVP.
course.
The Phillies won the championship. I wasn't that confident going in the finals. I knew popularity-wise, it would have been better and more funnier for Sass to win, the house cat, just go on vacation for a week to win $25K, and that Tommy did play a better game than me overall, even though if you were a hierarchy, it'd probably be like Jordan, Sydney, Sass, and then Tommy, and then me. I would have had to. No, I mean, that's facts. You lucked into a win. If I were to win, I knew.
I won.
Yeah, I know. You lucked into it. We'll get into that. If I were to win, I knew I would have had to win by default. And I thought I had a little bit of a chance. I thought Sass was going to vote for me. I thought I could get a couple votes from the crowd. And Tommy was supposed to vote for me, and my anger was like visceral towards him, as he knows, because I thought the trust went beyond the show and more into personal reasons, and I felt like I was backstabbed there. But we talked about it, and things are
But
fine
real quick
now.
on that, though, one thing I will say, though, is, like, I think going into this game, and even as it was closing out, people were like, one thing I don't want to see, the reason for Tommy Smokes winning is because Tommy Smokes played the best game. And I think that wasn't the reason that two of the people wound up voting for him. So half of his votes weren't because everyone was saying Tommy played the best game. It was because Sass and Smitty were trying to make kind of like a strategic political move to vote for Tommy because they kind of thought he wasn't going to get any votes.
Well,
And
my
that's-
vote for Tommy was because Tommy and I did have an alliance from the jump, and I wasn't going to break that.
You are very rah-rah, all about the team. If people watch Survivor, you're a guy named Rupert, basically. He wore a tie-dye shirt. He's always about the team.
Hey,
always
he's
about-
from Indiana.
He is
Almost the
always-
governor of
shit on
Indiana.
Well,
Rupert.
he's
He's a
right?
goddamn
He's
legend.
run for office. People love him, but he never wins. He did win a fan vote for $1 million once. We did not have that element in the show, so you did not.
Would have been funny if we had a fan vote
But
for $1 million.
you were very by the book. You did not lie. You didn't really backstab at all. That's the game you played. It is a very, no matter what. None of you were professional reality show players, like whatever. No matter what environment, that typically doesn't win on shows like
Well, I had two strategies going into this game. Number one, attach myself to him even though it was behind the scenes, and absolutely ravage him in front of the scenes to everybody. And when I said Tommy Smokes cannot win this game the first night, that was my plan. Like, I knew what I was doing to everybody, but me and him were allied from the start, beginning-wise. And once it became apparent that I wasn't winning challenges, I had to play the political game. I had no other choice. If I go full hardo and try to make people angry, I'd be having a target on my back.
Do you think you played do you think the angle you played in the final council though was a poor one? Because I'll be honest, two people, and I'll get to you in a second. If I hadn't been swayed, I always wrote the person that I thought played the best game. The best game player at that moment to me was Tommy. But if I hadn't had a thought in my mind who to vote for, I think you made Tommy look better, and I thought you made Tommy look better. And I'm very curious people who watched to think, because you led off with the Tommy thing, and I'm like, all Smitty's telling me right now is that Tommy played a great fucking game.
I
and
did
that's what
say
I'm
that
voting for.
too after his speech. I was
Yeah,
like,
like
thank
you,
you,
no, but I thought you ended strong. But at the time you got to the point of why vote for me, I was like, I don't know. He just gassed Tommy up so much. I got
Can I
nothing.
interject real quick? The biggest thing that Smitty had going for him was there was a formula shortage at the time of us filming this. He had a 1-year-old at home, so we were all like, "Fuck, Smitty has to buy baby formula."
Yeah.
So that.
But I don't think anyone I think me and other people were using that. Like I was like, oh, we can't let Smitty get to the end because he's got that baby. But in the back of my head, I was like, nobody's actually going to vote for
I
Smitty
never once
because he's
thought
got a
that.
fucking
Funny
baby.
joke.
Yeah.
But
Never brought it up. People were bringing it up though. They were like, I can't vote out Smith.
yeah.
Yeah, it was more of just like attack of you need a reason why everyone can't be at the end.
And
Smitty's was that he had a baby.
If I was smarter, I probably would have brought that up. But there were things cut out of that final speech, a la me saying, Tommy, and this is directed at Vibs and Sydney. I knew Billy wasn't going to vote for him, and Bree mostly. The final challenge, which if any of the four of us won that final challenge, we probably would have won. That was so luck box batshit in favor for Tommy. Literally, the roll of the dice. He didn't. Jordan almost drowned. Sass is eating bugs. I'm like
He also
hypothermic.
he took the blood more than anyone did. It was unreal.
Well, that was insane. 'Cause,
Ditched
like
the
the first
suits,
time they did the blood challenge, they used the suits and it just like didn't work because they blew up and like no one got wet. And then, for me, they're like, all right, take off your. I was like, where's my white suit? And they're like, I don't get one.
You look like you were covered in placenta, dude. You
Yeah.
look like a fresh
was
born
insane.
baby.
Your description.
Dude, I went in and I just was like, I was in like the cannonball position, just frozen. Like I could have just like floated there for like 10 minutes.
It was tough though because it was right after Jordan almost died in the tank, and then you just got a little bit of blood on you, and were complaining even more than Jordan.
You were
But he was
you were stunned.
He was going through it.
Use a
though.
used condom.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was like, let's get Sass's jewel. He was like, fuck you, Ron. Shut the fuck up.
But he absolutely luckboxed his way into winning that, and I was trying to explain it to Vibs and Billy.
We
and
didn't see anything.
Exactly.
We can't see any of the challenges. We can't talk to any of you guys. We couldn't talk to each other and make a strategy for ourselves.
Which
Like,
I want to know. Hilarious. You had the fucking corniest speech to eliminate Jordan.
Oh,
and
that
I'm like,
was
I want to be like, does he know
goosebumps.
none of the council is watching this? That
That was for the camera.
okay. I was like,
That was for an Instagram
it
reel
felt
that I
very
can
final
post tomorrow.
council speechy. I'm like, we're not seeing this right now. Yeah, it was.
No,
very,
I mean, I agree that I definitely got incredibly lucky that challenge, but I also think there's an element to it of I had good enough relationships with the three of you where you had the choices multiple times to put me up and do shit.
Can
and you guys did it.
can you admit that whoever won that challenge probably wins the entire thing?
No, not necessarily.
I
Which-
wholeheartedly disagree.
Which-
The final challenge.
No, because
board game.
I have no
feel like
idea.
if I lost, like, were you guys gonna take me out or if you won, were you gonna take me out?
I was
No,
between.
I would definitely have taken Tommy.
Yeah, and
I was
feel
between you and Tommy, but probably you.
Oh, okay.
I think if Jordan won the final challenge, she absolutely would have won.
100%.
I agree with that.
You don't think if Sass won, then he could parlay it and go, okay, I wasn't just a house cat all
He
week.
could have.
I win, and if I
maybe,
win,
yeah.
like it's the same exact thing. If you lost that challenge, you didn't win a single challenge besides the opener.
But that's still a challenge. I don't think I won
in the
because
ch-
I
in
won
the-
the last challenge. Like I don't think people voted me.
I think
voted for me
the
'cause I
only
won
one in
the
my
last.
eyes, and I'll ask it to you, and then I do want to get to the Billy thing.
Like, can we also admit that like winning the challenges didn't help you win the whole game at all?
At the beginning, no, but in the end,
I
yes.
think that
I
definitely.
mean, hypothetically, if
Would you
won
have
every
voted
challenge.
had Jordan won? Would you have voted for Jordan, or would you have had to have seen who the rest of the? If she'd won the challenge and been in the final, would that have kind of been like, okay, she wins this game. She's played, I guess, the best of who's remaining. Depending, it obviously depends on who would have been there. But would you have?
Who would you
voted
have
for
taken
Jordan?
out?
Who would you have?
It
I was
would
gonna take Sass out.
Okay, so it would have been
it would've been-
Jordan, Smitty, and Tommy. Would you have voted for Jordan?
I would have maybe voted for Smitty. I mean, honestly, I think I would have voted for Smitty because the baby thing would have gotten in.
I think you were looking to vote for me 99.9% of the time, except when you actually fucking voted.
I know. I just didn't have the heart to tell
Final-
you.
Yes, I mean,
No,
that
but
was.
the thing is-
You told me directly after.
I know, but I didn't have the heart to tell you I didn't vote for you. I didn't. It's like it was one of those situations where
Well,
you're
was
you
like,
didn't.
fuck.
He
I
was
didn't
gonna
know we were
find
gonna
out
figure.
anyway.
I didn't know we were gonna figure out that I
Final
didn't
vote,
vote for
Sass.
you.
You told me afterwards.
I know, but I didn't know that it was gonna come out. I thought my vote was like, you how
Private?
who people voted for Trump, did they say they voted for Biden? Like I thought that was gonna get away. That was like not voting
That's
for you.
insane. There are many insane things about you on this show. That is one of the crazy things you've said.
That
You
if-
shut that camera off while I vote real quick.
Oh shit! Yeah, 'cause that was no. I didn't vote for you because I thought that would mean that Tommy might get we knew that like Sass could win. Tommy, we were just trying to make sure that Tommy didn't win. We
You're
thought
saying
that
he was Andrew Yang.
Wait, you voted for Tommy?
no.
Oh,
what
okay.
happened was is
He
Bree
so
and I.
wait. So
No,
Sass,
I was Ross
let's-
Perot.
Just so we
Yeah,
have it
third
clear.
party.
Yes.
Wait, just so we have it
If
clear.
we
Let's do
voted
the
for
votes
you-
real quick.
yeah.
Sass was Billy, Bree, and Tommy. Smitty was voted by Vivs. Tommy's voted by Sydney, Jordan, Sass, and Smitty. All right, continue. Sorry, just so we have
So
that.
what happened was Bree and I was like, yo, Bree, who are you going to vote for to make sure Tommy doesn't win? Because Bree was also anti-Tommy. So we were like, we got to make sure we vote. So we were like switching off, like Smitty or Tommy. Like, who do you think the rest of the people are going to vote for? So Vibs, you were also in that conversation a little bit.
Yeah, we were not allowed to talk to each other. We're like going up to the final council thing, and we're all kind of like whispering, like who do we
So
who
Vibs, at one point you said
I said Smitty or Sass. We
we were
just
all
had to go
Smitty
or
and Sass. It was like,
yeah.
So we had to make sure we had to all choose the same person. So we were on the log, like, let's vote for Smitty. And then it was like on and off. And then Bree was like, no, we should definitely vote for Sass. I'm going to vote for Sass. I was like, okay, I'm going to vote for Sass. Because
So if you had voted for Sass
what
too,
you're saying happened though, because there's no way. I mean, maybe Bill.
Because honestly,
there's no way you thought Jordan and Sydney were going to align with like the little. I mean, they very clearly lasted longer. The people you're talking about did vote for Smitty or Sass.
Right, but I did not understand how both of you, after getting beaten by Tommy, would vote for Tommy.
Well, wait. We'll talk about that in a second because I have a gripe with that. I have a gripe with that mindset.
Because they respect the game.
Well, let's get that.
I mean,
I
I
want
answered
to.
it all ways.
Yes,
Well, so I also
Tommy,
wanna
I want
say-
to. I want to
but
go
the-
Tommy
but
Billy
the-
first. I
but
want to do
the-
Tommy Billy first. Bad blood still.
No, not at all.
Okay, that was very mean. You were very.
It
mean
was
to each
intense.
other. It was
No,
very
basically-
intense.
I didn't
You're good
expect
now.
Billy
You're
to come
good.
at me.
No, honestly, by the way, like, think about this. Like, I got eliminated first. If we talk, like, when you get eliminated, you get put in a cabin alone.
yeah, Billy was pent up and wasn't allowed to say anything.
I was not saying anything to anyone.
He was
for 6
Vesuvius.
days.
He
I
was
was
just
just-
building up, just being like, I'm
You know-
going as soon as I get the fucking chance. I'm gonna beat the
I
shit
mean-
out of Bibbs.
I'm just gonna be like, so that was like my first time talking, and then I was just like, because in my head I'd seen Tommy like systematically take down threats and get to this point where there was a possibility for him to win in the final three, and I was just like, we cannot let Tommy win because part of me
I
was
thought
just like,
he would take the other way. I thought I thought Billy would be like, oh, he kind of. I thought Billy.
I
would,
was
like,
surprised
respect
too.
no, because in my head it was like I knew there was a council that voted at the end, and I was like, well, you know, the council is part of the game. The council is part of winning. Like, if you play a valiant game, like an ideologically optimistic game. Like if you play a valiant
Smitty was
game
trying
and
to-
not screw everybody over,
Sass to an extent, but it was a little different. It was a little.
like. But I mean, I guess the other side of the log stumps, Jordan, Sydney. I mean, I guess they were on a totally different page. Like I thought they'd be like, they got me, like, you know, I got voted out because of Tommy being able to skirt his way into winning in BS ways while we did all these challenges.
Or,
I
I
didn't
mean,
think they'd
Sydney
be on the
wasn't
same-
eliminated because of Tommy. Jordan.
And also
surprised.
Bree and Vibs weren't eliminated because of Tommy either.
Yeah.
Well, no, they were.
Also.
Absolutely
Billy
not.
Billy, you weren't either.
Billy was, not Bree.
I was
Bree,
eliminated-
absolutely.
like, Vibs
Sydney wanted to
eliminated
vote.
you.
Sydney wanted to vote Vibs out, and then
Yeah, but Vibs and Bree were gone anyway.
yeah, but I wanted Bree.
The way the game was going,
I wanted Billy and Bree
No, but
out.
honestly, I have no idea what. In that moment, I had no idea what you were doing behind the scenes. But I just, in that moment, thought that you were behind.
That was the thing. Also,
I thought it was like.
Dude,
The
Sass
final
is playing with
challenge-
his cup is such a Sass moment in this show. That's exactly how he was. Like some big ass argument would be going on, and he'd just be playing like croquet on the side. Some bullshit.
There's a
wiffle ball, baby.
How good are you at pool now?
I thought I was good. I got pretty humbled this weekend, though.
You're like,
Played with
guys, I was on a reality show. Just waiting for
Yeah.
this.
Oh, Francis is good.
I played with Francis. He beat me 11-4.
Oh, it's his 9th best sport.
You did say that Tommy lied to you so many times.
Yeah, I didn't lie to
thought-
Billy at all.
You were there for a cup of coffee, Billy. You're there for one episode. How many times could Tommy have lied to you?
0 times. He asked me to get kindling. I said no. That's not a lie.
Dude, but I am on Billy's
That's
side.
honest.
I am on Billy's side in his frustration about Tommy because, like,
Yeah, that's
in a
fair.
lot of ways, Tommy would say the most bullshit stuff to people and people would buy it. Like he would go up to somebody and be like, Vibs, like it's gonna be a bad precedent if you go home. And it's like, not fucking really, but just because he's saying it, or like the way he's like, actually Sass is the biggest threat. It's like, well, not fucking really, but just because you said it, it was almost like accepted
I
as
don't
truth,
understand.
which is frustrating.
I'm the craziest thing about the whole thing, and that's still, and why I was probably so irate was that going into it, we all know you were very good at game shows. So when we were all sitting around the fire, I was like, we're like taking Tommy out, right? Like he's the best at game shows.
You're definitely not wrong there.
Everyone, but like everybody was being like, yeah, and I was like,
To your
okay,
point.
like,
But I'm that good.
Right.
yeah. So then I was just like, what?
That's the reason why I.
I don't even think it
showed
had
him.
anything to do with Tommy being good. I think that was just everyone was like, oh, well, we'll just get Tommy out next.
Well, let's remember, Tommy has won.
Yeah.
So for example, if you guys could go back, Vibs, and maybe let's say a whole different situation, Vibs, maybe you didn't even have the elimination. Would you guys still eliminate me or take out Tommy? By the way,
I will say,
remember,
I'm
Tommy
going to be
won.
honest with you,
Knowing Tommy
Billy, the
won.
only thing everybody agreed on at the end of that show was that you were still going to go first. That's it. Bree
But,
even
like,
said, she's
even-
Unless
Billy
Bree won.
Everyone
Bree
seemed-
won, he's out.
Yeah. Everyone
No,
seemed
but I
pretty
think I could have got voted
confident.
into the mansion from you.
What are you about to say, Vibs?
I was gonna say
You going first seemed like a
But,
very
no,
kumbaya decision. People seem to agree with that.
knowing what we know now, how much of a threat I could be in the thing, would you really vote me out
Yes.
first again?
Yes.
if I
Billy,
ever
yes.
immediately.
That
You
hasn't
talk
changed.
so much.
Yeah, everyone seemed to agree with that, by the way, at the end of the episode.
You just talk a lot.
But, okay,
I
so
love you, but you talk a
I will
lot.
say, for those who don't know,
What was
very
I gonna
obvious.
say?
Come on, Billy. So very
Oh my
obviously,
God.
we'll get back to you, Billy. Very obviously, Tommy, and some people find this to be a criticism. You can take it however you want. People say Tommy's just playing a strategy from Survivor. He's just copying Survivor.
God forbid I play a
Two-
strategy.
You played a strategy. It's a successful one. A Survivor, multiple time Survivor winners have done it. Sandra, Tony, they do this thing where they say, no one's gonna vote for me. And everyone fell for it. Everyone said it. You said it a bunch, you said it a bunch. No one's gonna vote for Tommy. No one's gonna vote for Tommy. And you just kind of watched it unfold and you're like, they are saying everything he wants to hear. So obviously you now know that was his strategy and that was not the strategy to play into. But the thing that kind of came up at the end was, don't vote for Tommy because he's won before. For me, I find that crazy. You didn't want him to win because he's won before. I think the best player in the game should win. And I think at that moment, he had played the best strategy top to bottom because I do think the snake and the backstabbing is part of it. It is a dangerous
Look,
game show.
the-
It's not the friendly game show.
The format dictated him to stay whether he was snaking or not. Vibs and Bree were both gone whether Tommy was manipulating the scenes.
No, but I did have to convince
Whatever.
Sydney both times to not take me. This got cut, but I think Sydney was going to take me out, and then me and Vibs both had separate long conversations with Sydney.
I Wholeheartedly disagree.
No, no.
Wholeheartedly
Sydney
disagree.
was gonna take
No,
Tommy
I
out, and I had to
disagree.
talk her off the ledge. We sat in a car, and she was literally like, "I have to take Tommy," and I was like, "Don't take Tommy out."
How'd you get a car?
Why did you do that?
How did you get a computer and a printer for your finale?
Oh my God, he did that with like 5 minutes until we
Yeah.
started filming.
Wait, I
We
want
had
to
a delay.
know
the-
Billy's question. Why she did that before we get Sass's answer? Why?
Yeah, why-
Why did you convince her
Why-
not to vote out Tommy?
Well, because I felt like as long as Tommy was in our alliance, we were going to keep controlling the game, and she wanted to vote him out. I guess it'd be second round, and I was like, if you do that, then we're going to be thrown off, and then next thing you know, one of us could end up in the mansion. Like, the only way I saw winning was if it's me, Tommy, and Sydney close to the end, because I truly didn't think anyone was going to vote for
I think
Tommy.
I think your strategy was good. I think Bree even said it, she said, I think Jordan eliminating Sydney was the right move. I think had you won the challenge, you would have won. So I think
Me
that.
drowning got in the way of
Yeah,
it.
I think what you did was great. You just, in the end, you just lost. You just lost the last game. You lost to the wrong person.
I don't
think
even
that's
I
what
respect
it
him
came down
Drowning
cutting
had
me
anything to
off,
do. I think
Yeah.
Tommy just
Yeah.
got lucky. Like, you know what I mean? I think Tommy just got.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't
the
get killed.
literal-
Like, he didn't get
But
killed.
okay, so to that question, did it ever cross your mind to give the win to somebody who just had played the best game?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I didn't vote for Tommy because he's won before. It's my vote, and I just didn't want to see Tommy win. I didn't want to see Tommy happy. That's what it came down
Yeah.
to.
Well, like,
Yeah.
Like I was.
But
What's still-
that's your strategy.
No, but
Did he-
what's-
The
who
game
played
of
who
honor.
played the
No,
best game?
But the thing is, you guys still, like, it's crazy. I feel like I'm back at the camp, or no, back to the elimination where I'm like seeing people not eliminate Tommy. It's like, Tommy has now won.
I didn't care.
Yeah,
though.
but,
If
but
he
start
won.
of the
but
game,
here's my question: why does that matter? though?
Yeah,
because
who
Him
cares?
winning?
I-
Because that means he was the most
Billy,
dangerous player.
Isn't that why I
isn't that the point of the game, though?
Yeah,
Because I get it. Billy, I will be honest, Billy. You obviously you're the bombastic, crazy player. You get a lot of shit. Your point of throughout the game, why the fuck is he still here, is completely correct.
Right.
You were right. But
Right,
but
that-
when he
like,
gets
'cause
to the end, at that point, now you're rewarding a winner. It's
Yeah, but
He deserved it.
he quote unquote
Different.
played the, like Jordan. You played the best game out of all
She
8 or
wasn't there,
9.
though.
I
She
did,
wasn't
thank
there
you.
because you guys didn't see it. That final board game was all luck based for him to win.
But also, Jordan might have been out.
Jordan didn't have a target on her back the whole time like Tommy did. So Jordan had the luxury of playing whatever game she wanted. Tommy had to play what
Right.
all of us going against him.
And
That's
Jordan
very valid.
became. I originally, when I said it, I wanted to originally beat the end with Smitty and Jordan. Thought that was my best chance to win. Once Jordan took Sydney out, I was like, I can't go next to Jordan. Because I know the only pitch I have to a jury is, oh, I played the best game. If I was there with Jordan and she had that over me of like, oh, I took Sydney out, you had nothing to do with that, then it's like, that's a major hit to my argument. So I was like, all right, well, I just have to sit there with Smitty and Sass and hope that the jury isn't like bitter. That was my thinking.
Yeah,
By
I
the way,
respect that.
What about you? What about you? You're in a different position because you were. I mean, you did vote technically. Like do
For
you
Tommy?
think? And you kind of said it. You didn't really play the angle of like don't vote for Tommy because Tommy's won before. You kind of just went after Tommy like he's kind of a dick to you guys just now. Like you kind of went at it in a more
Yeah, I mean,
live moment.
I was,
way.
I think, like rewatching it. I remember in the moment, like after everyone finished giving their speeches, and then like the council talked. I was like, okay, so Tommy's gonna get no votes. But then I don't think I really took into consideration like Jordan and Sydney definitely weren't mad at Tommy. I think I was more just focused on the fact that like Billy and Brianna were so like aggressively anti-Tommy, and that was what really stuck with me. So I was like, okay, if I just vote for Tommy, it's just gonna burn a vote. Like no one's gonna vote for him, and then that obviously ended up not working.
I mean, you played a game. We talked about in the after show the other day. You said like Sass kind of lucked into the strategy a bit. Like, do you agree with that, or do you think you had a moment of realization in the house where you're like, this?
No,
I
after the
can-
first night that I was in the house, I was like, okay, this is the way
What is,
to do it.
you didn't have a
Because
strategy
everyone-
obviously going in, but at that point,
Yeah,
it
no
seemed
one
like-
wanted to go into the house. Everyone was like, oh, I have
Also,
to be-
nobody else could pull that off besides you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We were kind of toying with Sass. Like, we were all figuring out our strategy, and then Sass was over here, and it's like, well, just put him in the house. We'll deal with him later.
But I do think.
No,
Sass
I
did a
went up
good
to everyone.
job.
I was like, "Hey, can I go in the house?" And people were like, "Yeah, go in."
I'll be honest.
And I was like, but people didn't consider that. That's like the house
That is a
was there
strategy.
for a reason. It was half of the game, and everyone was like, "Oh, I have to be on the camp politicking," and it was like, or you could just go to the house every night and then just go to the top.
I think not everyone could play that game. Like if I was like, hey guys, you just put me in the house, everyone would be like, fuck
gone.
you. But Sass, like he realized, oh, this is my best path, and I think he did a good job like taking advantage. of it.
Sure.
Smitty.
No, Sass played a great game when it came to that.
Again, we'll go back to what we said. I said we'd circle back. You said the luck thing, but you made a big pitch, and your pitch to the council basically involved saying how and you said it was luck, but you did gas Tommy up. Did you blow it by not maybe hammering home more how you played as opposed to how Tommy played?
Well, the only advantage I had as a player was my politics and diplomacy, and that really didn't mean dick in the end when it came to the vote, because I
could though. If you would have made it a bigger, I mean, Sass made his thing a pretty big pitch off the top.
Yeah, but if you were to choose between me and Sass in a vote of nothingness, I thought they were going to choose Sass. So I was pretty. I was up against the wall in that fact. Did I gas him up too much looking back at it? Maybe, but I was also trying to call back to the first night saying at the fire with Bree, Vibbs, Billy, and who else was there?
Sass.
And Sass, like, hey, this guy can't win. Like, we know that from the beginning. Don't let him win. It's in your hands.
I was like, I really don't think, I think Tommy's getting a little too much credit for the,
I think you're getting a little too much.
No, I think
credit
you're
for
getting
staying in a house all week.
But I mean, that was part of the
Shout
game.
out, Tommy, yeah.
And
Wait,
yeah,
too much
also,
credit-
no, that's
too much
another thing.
credit
That's
for
another
what?
thing. That's another thing. Everyone's like, oh, well, Sass wasn't in the fucking paint with us. Like, yeah, dude, because I didn't have to be. Like, everyone's like, oh, you weren't doing all the challenges. Like, yeah, why would I do the challenges?
Hey, you weren't in the fucking shit with us.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand why it has to be like a respect thing. Like, oh, I had to.
What were you saying that he did that you think he's getting too much credit for?
Oh, I think he's getting too much credit for the thing where he's like, oh, well, if I make it to the top 3, no one's going to vote for Tommy. And it's like, yeah, dude, like, that was an obvious strategy. I mean, to me at least, I was like, yeah, he's obviously saying that, so we bring him to the final 3.
Yeah, I do think everyone fell for that though.
I don't think I
In a
fell for
way.
that at all. I
Yeah,
knew.
Sass was like on to me from the beginning.
That's fair.
I was very
That's
aware
fair,
that
yeah.
he was doing that, and I think it was like.
Well, you called him out
extremely
you called him out very hardcore at the council thing, but not even like a venomous way. You're like, well, this is fucking. You quoted Kurt Russell as Herb Brooks in Miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just said like
Yeah.
enough.
Well, I saw Sass even say on
Guy
that
quoted
show,
Robert
like,
Frost.
Me and Sass have a very like jokey relationship, or like I'm, like when I'm going up to him to try to talk strategy, he's like, "What are you doing, Tommy?" Like it's mainly me like poking him with a stick, like was in like this final scene or whatever.
You,
Yes, brother.
you're the host.
Yes, brother.
It's your show.
Yes.
How would you have voted? Maybe not specifically for a person. You could say that if you want to, but would you have put yourself in Sydney's shoes, not eliminated by Tommy. Put yourself in Billy's shoes, not eliminated by Tommy, but didn't like what Tommy did. Then put yourself in maybe Jordan's shoes, eliminated by Tommy. How would you have viewed the game? Would you have viewed it as, oh, strategy played the best, should win, or is it a friendship and connections, bonds thing, a trust thing that wins a vote for you?
Dude, well, I think what really colored everybody's opinion of Tommy was their depth of knowledge on him. And I think that like Sydney and Jordan both voted for Tommy, and they don't necessarily have as much context on Tommy as the rest of us. And we all kind of know how hateable Tommy is, but it's kind of Sydney and Jordan's first time really spending a lot of time. And I'd be interested to see if your perspective would have changed, or if like the conversations you had in the car with Sydney would have changed, or if your alliances at the beginning would have changed with Tommy, knowing that what you know now about how he played the game, watching the edit, and how he talked about you and everything.
I didn't talk bad about Jordan.
I mean, I don't know leading up, like that conversation could have changed, but if Tommy was in the final round, I know I would have still voted for him, because the way I thought of the game was who played the best game, who was the most dangerous player, and that's all I cared about, and I felt like Tommy deserved it, and that wouldn't change if I was in another show with him.
Also to the point, of like being hateable. Like I think
I don't think you're
actually
hateable, by the way.
I was gonna say the reason I won is because it's the opposite. Like Sydney
You
and
played
Jordan.
pathetic, like Viv said.
no,
Sydney and Jordan, like we like got along well.
Guys,
Like
can we
I.
Also,
we
can I
look at
just,
some-
yeah,
It's more of a social-
wait. I will say Tommy was the most pleasant person to be around besides
Right.
Sydney on that whole show. Like him, you didn't see a lot, but like
Okay,
me and
fuck
Tommy
you.
and Tommy and Sydney literally spent every single day together for a week
Which is
straight.
to Ron's point. It's like,
Yeah.
and
I would argue
mentioned
that
it
I was
after
the
sh-
most pleasant person.
We didn't
Anyone that came
talk.
to the mansion with me, we had a blast.
I had a
Last-
phenomenal time
I
with Little
said it
Sass.
in-
I thought I was gonna have to survive in the woods for a week, so I was a little rough on it.
I said it. You just thought this was a no-winner
I thought this
Bear
was
Grylls
man versus
Survivor.
wild.
Yeah.
I know. Did any of you know
Nobody
how the game
knew.
would
Like
win?
to be fair,
Yeah.
we literally like we got to the house in the van. We were like, what's gonna happen? I didn't think people were getting eliminated. I didn't think there were gonna be vote offs. Like
They took us to a
also
separate
think- No,
state.
this was insane. This was like
Them
this.
not-
This was the only moment that I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? I was like, I do not want to be here. We pull up in like a van, and everyone's like they're like, yo, wait, like, are we being kidnapped? Like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, dude, we're not being, like...
I was texting my wife. I'm like, this isn't the address. I don't know where we're at.
Tommy's, like, calling his mom. Like, this isn't the address they told us we were going to. And it's like, dude, like, you think they're going to fucking, like,
And the
murder us
craziest
out
part
here?
is I was like getting paranoid as fuck because of like you guys, but I was labeled as the complainer on the first episode because I was like, what? Where the fuck are we? Because I was the only one who was like not putting up with it. I was like, where the fuck are we? What's going on? And I was the complainer.
I was legitimately afraid to die on the show. Like going into it, I was like, I don't know how dangerous the challenges are going to be. Like I might die.
Well, they told. I mean, you guys obviously saw the script before then, and I think both of you said, Ronan and Jeff, that if we saw exactly what was being planned for the show, nobody would sign up.
Well,
Which I kind of agree with, looking into it.
I mean, I think the only one that was really dangerous was the water one. That one was fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I mean,
Did almost drown.
You could have so easily drowned in
Just
that.
waterboarding yourself.
Yeah.
It was waterboarding. That's a better way to put it.
Watching Tommy
It
do
was.
it too, like, was scary because, like, I think I had a little more water than him, but, like, I can't even imagine how I would not have won if I had as much water as you did.
He didn't go underwater.
No, but
I
there's
did-
no
sat
there
way
the whole
you
time.
win.
No, I went underwater
That was
once. I
water.
came back up and I immediately started coughing up the water. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to sit here.
And I think
Because I heard
that's
Jordan had
water.
3 keys. I was like, all right, fuck this. I'm just going to sit here and breathe.
Going back to it, I will say to your point though, and you can interject on this too. I mentioned on one of the after shows that I thought it was very, the bounce, call it luck, however you want to call it, it bounced in Tommy's favor. That is with the 2 people, again, not their fault. They've been here the shortest amount of time, who weren't here for Surviving Barstool, who aren't completely adjacent to maybe the lowering the bar trend, though I believe you did that as well, right? So you did that. You saw the dozen, maybe like you. They've all seen that, and he just said it, and Jordan backed it up. He seemed to have been very nice to them. So like
Was.
they
And
I
had a
think that was-
pleasant Tommy. They had a run.
That was an approach by Tommy. He was like, I don't know them that well, which means they could be kind of moldable. And I think that was, and I think that as people looked at me, they're like, people will kind of accuse me of like rooting against Tommy, and that wasn't my intention. But my intention was more to like call out what I saw.
Yeah, I don't agree.
Like-
I don't agree with that. I think you were very much just surveying the land.
really
And to
quick,
defend Tommy, like, he is a nice guy.
he's
Like,
a nice guy,
good
but
person.
Tommy, stand up.
The shirt?
Yeah.
What?
Like,
No, okay, so here's actually...
He's a
is that-
snake in
is
the
that
reality
crazy
show
that
game.
I thought that like
here's what I
when we
wanna
were
say,
sitting
too, is
around the
like-
fire, we're taking Tommy out. I was like,
nobody's
okay.
No, we're
disagreeing
not.
with
Yeah,
you.
we're not disagreeing with you, Billy.
So why didn't we take
People
him out?
are always like, oh,
Because we
Tommy's
were
such
going
a
to,
snake.
but
Yeah.
we didn't
Oh,
get
wait,
to
Yes,
it.
he was going to, but
Also,
got cut.
Other
This guy
people got
doesn't
in the
fucking
way.
drive on the highway. Nobody looks at him as threatening. That's
Yeah.
the advantage he has going
also-
into these.
well, that's
things.
also a little bit of
After he
strategy.
beat me in lowering the bar, I was like, he needs to go
Billy,
first
But
night.
Billy, you were
Wait, hold
also
on.
in the finals of lowering the bar. Like, you're also
you
a
asked Jordan
threat.
earlier. Jordan's
Billy,
explaining her anger too.
More dangerous people got in the way. So Tommy was always in the back of our mind, but like Bree all of a sudden got more dangerous. Vibs all of a sudden got more dangerous to the point where we thought they were going to eliminate us. Tommy was never going to eliminate.
But he
Sydney
made
Knox.
that threat of them eliminating you apparent as a threat. They didn't necessarily get more dangerous. Your perception of them got more dangerous because Tommy orchestrated it.
And also
Jordan,
the way the game was
You were
dictated.
never on my radar. You and Sydney,
Hey, that's what I
never.
mean.
And I told you guys that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Tommy put it on there like,
But
oh.
in those positions, if Vibs and Bree were switched with Tommy, Tommy would be gone in that situation.
Yeah.
Like that's the way the game. Like that's the way the
I think
format
out of
was.
these 3 games, I do think, it sounds like your strategy, again, had you just won, you would have cut the snake. You would have, Tommy would have been gone. You just happened to not win. Like, it's set up how you want it to be set up.
Well, I would have taken Tommy to the end.
Oh, so you would
Yeah, I
have.
was
And
gonna
I
take
do
Sass
still think you
out.
probably would have won.
But
so I know you
mainly
would've
because
managed.
I believe that I think they would pick me over.
But I do
Tommy.
think.
I'll also say, like,
You might
I don't know. I don't know.
For as
I
much
don't know,
as
he's a
people
snake. I
say-
could have been convinced by the end.
As much as
Be
people are like, oh, Tommy's such a snake, like, he's such a liar, like, I'm actually not. Like, I pick an alliance and we go to the end. Like, I don't backstab people. Like,
Smitty.
Surviving Barstool,
Did you agree
Is
with
that
that?
true?
we went to the end.
up until the very the
Right, the vote.
final
Until he
vote. That was.
killed you.
I
I
mean,
mean,
he
back
knows.
then,
You know, at two brute.
Right, but like, we
Tommy
didn't.
worked with Jordan and Sydney well. Like, I didn't
knows.
do anything.
Yeah,
to
I
them.
didn't take
To
Sydney
be
out.
fair, it didn't work for Smitty, obviously. I mean,
Wait.
Sass never had the chance to cut his.
I have a
But
question.
Judas got along with Jesus right until.
Wait, no. I
Until
have,
the
I have a
kiss.
question.
Yeah.
I have a question. So everyone's saying that they don't understand why Tommy won, but when I just said I would take him to the end, and you guys probably would have voted for me, you just said no, you could have voted for him. So you're all brainwashed too.
No, wait. Well, who knows?
I mean, I'll say
Who's in the end with you?
Jordan,
It
when
would
you
have been me, Smitty, Jordan.
I mean,
Well, then I'd vote for Smitty.
Okay, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
Smitty. I voted for Smitty.
That would have been a wild turn.
Oh, I disagree. If she would have won the challenge, she would have won.
Yeah.
I had Bree.
Like that, it's
Like,
not.
Bree would have not.
Oh wait,
voted
actually,
for
okay.
No, she said
okay,
she gained respect for me when I kicked Sydney off, and she would have voted for. She told me that.
You and you, Smitty, Tommy.
Yeah.
Who would you vote for in this?
Actually, I can't speak for her.
I mean, I would have. I mean, like if I was watching from someone else's perspective and it was me, Smitty, and Tommy, I still would have voted for Tommy because
No, if it was me, Smitty, and Tommy.
oh, I don't know. Regardless, I'm still voting for Tommy because I think. I mean, I still think it's insane that we didn't eliminate him in the beginning. I think it was a very easy to see through strategy of him being like, oh well, if I make it in the top 3, I'm not going to get any votes.
Even if Jordan wins the last challenge, you're still voting for
Yes,
Tommy?
yeah, and then because I think the fact that he got to the top 3 is insane. And also,
Yeah.
I think there's also I don't think it's like people are looking at as much like Tommy was always like he was in character for literally the entire week that we were in the woods. Like he never was
Yeah.
like
Even off camera.
Right.
You say it's
not-
insane.
it's him.
But who would have how would it have gone? What would have been
What do you mean?
the alternative?
Of
Like,
what?
You say like Tommy making it to the end is insane. Like okay, well who would you have voted for instead of Tommy? Like
if Tommy wasn't in the top.
No, he's saying he would have eliminated him in the final 4 if he had won that challenge.
If I
he would have
if I
eliminated
was in the position to cut Tommy, I would have 100.
Got you.
at any
Got you.
point.
Yeah,
At any
yeah.
point, you would have cut him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
I would
but
think
again,
I think Jordan. Sorry, I think Jordan. If she would have eliminated Tommy, I think that would have given her
Right.
clout
She would
with
have won
everyone in the
instantly.
council.
I thought
But I
so. I
think
misunderstood.
Sydney-
So I thought you would have done that because I do think that would have been a perfect. You would have played a perfect game had you gone Sydney then Tommy. That's like well,
Then
that's,
Sydney
I
would
would
have
have
eliminated
voted
me.
for her so fast.
you might have voted. Tom might have voted for you 10 times.
I would
like,
have.
No, if you would have voted for no, I'm saying the Sydney thing still happens.
Oh, I
If you had
see.
won that and then voted Tommy, I do think if you'd not voted Tommy in the final 4, if you'd won, that would probably been a large mistake. But
No, but I think if she cut Tommy instead of Sydney and Sydney and Jordan both made it to the top 3, I think Jordan would still win just because she cut off Tommy.
In my head, I was like, if I get eliminated, I'm voting for the person that took me out. Because like I'll just tip my cap and be like, you did what nobody else has done.
And
Because you want to
won
lose to
the
the
last
champ.
I'll vote for you to win.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then she would take me out.
Very interesting.
Billy's still,
All these what
still-
ifs are stressful.
Billy's still
No, I-
perplexed.
No, I just feel like that. I don't know. I think Bree and I were the two most. Bree and I wouldn't say we had an alliance, but we were like talking about the game the most. I was only there for a second. Had a great time. I think I had the most fun out of everybody that first night.
We
Yeah,
talked
'cause you
Yeah, because you're only there for
the
30
show with
seconds.
you. You were on an after show with me and Vibs and Tommy, and Vibs alluded to his strategy, which would have worked, but he got eliminated. And he was then he
I
wasn't
got
able
stuck
to.
in the house.
He
and
got
then
stuck in the house. He got
yeah.
eliminated. Like he wasn't able to make that move. Because everyone did. I will remind you, Billy. Everyone has agreed on only one thing. They would have still taken you out first.
Like,
That was still the one thing everyone agreed on in the
Billy
finale.
was chilling with the cast afterwards, and it was probably a 30 rack a day type of thing. He
Well,
was
I
the
had
beer
nothing to
He
do.
was the beer slug. Like you could always like if you saw a couple Coors Lights, you could
Yeah,
like
what is
follow
I
them.
was left
to the next
alone.
one.
I was
you
left
saw a little
alone.
more than most people did because you'd stroll up in your garment of choice.
Yeah.
And you'd scurry on off after. What are some things maybe?
I mean, Billy being the beer
Vibes?
slug was
Billy
really.
being drunk. Okay.
No,
No,
it was
look,
like you
I
were
had
following
nothing
his
to
trail
do.
everywhere. It was
there
incredible.
was nothing to do. I couldn't go to the shoot. I couldn't. The thing is, like, society has like you go to work for a reason.
All right. You were.
society
I
has a
want to know. You were
structure.
there for what, like 7 days?
No, 5.
No, but
Five.
I was alone. I was alone.
There were like basketball courts.
the craziest thing
Well,
is,
like you can only shoot hoops.
Billy
like,
was more wild when he was voted off than when he was on the show.
And I had a
would
great
have
time
gone
with
back
him.
and voted him off.
In
we
Billy's
did- we did have a
defense, I
great
think
time.
everyone was drinking pretty consistently the entire time.
Yeah,
There's a lot
that's
of
a
free
fact.
time.
People
You
were-
weren't allowed to drink half the time.
I mean,
for
we
the
couldn't.
challenges.
If we could get our hands on some booze, Billy was drinking it all.
So Billy got eliminated
Yeah.
the first night, and like right away it was like, we're like cracked a bunch of beers, and then the second night, cracked a bunch of beers, and then Bree gets voted off, and I think that her vibe was like, dude, am I about to just stay out here and just like fucking pound Coors Lights? Like, what is like, what are we gonna do? And I think Bree was pissed off, like.
Oh, she
off
was
the
really
rip.
mad.
She said
Yeah.
she threatened an injury.
Yeah, she was about to take I think cooler heads prevailed, but she was about to take like a helicopter home or some shit. Dude, she was about to
There was rumors that she was like about to helicopter out of the place.
out of the smallest town in Pennsylvania.
They're just on
I've
a
ever
rope
seen.
underneath the helicopter being airlifted out just like this,
back
like
there.
Indiana Jones. Yeah.
It would have been fire, but we had the idea to kind of like, because if she was just going to be staying in the wilderness, Billy had his beer to hang out with, so we're like, let's bring out Grace for her to hang out with, and so she was just like kind of booling with Grace the entire time, and like as it like the kind of then Vibs got eliminated, so the crew kind of grows a little bit, and like there's more people for us to kind of hang out with and you know, spend some nights drinking with, and you know, some of the nights got a little bit crazy. Billy? Let's tell the story.
Hey, man.
Tell it.
So there was a big rub on the. There was something that we didn't know if we should include in the show, and we wound up not including it in the show because something went down that wasn't necessarily filmed,
I don't care.
and it's not as bad as like the craziest rumors would have you believe.
Billy did not commit any heinous.
No.
Okay.
We were by Scranton, and I kept talking about the Scranton ass rapist.
Bibbs actually tipped me off about this like 3 hours before it happened.
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, I was trying to
Because
make.
you were at the Matches for a Mansion at the time.
I mean,
I was having a blast.
Wait, wait,
thought it
before you go,
was
how far was the mansion from where you were staying?
45 minutes.
45
yeah,
minutes.
it was
An hour.
oh, the mansion's
No,
far.
not where Billy was staying.
Bibbs
Wait,
had a.
wait, where Billy was staying, how far is that from the
That's
mansion?
at
45 minutes.
45
From the
Vibs,
camp to
Vibs
Billy was
puked
like
the
mine.
entire time one night.
First night, it's hairpin turns, winding roads. Ronan's friend is driving like 90 miles an hour.
Terrible.
And I'm just leaning out this Chevy Tahoe, just puking my guts out.
It actually sucked. Like Vibs threw up like every time we got in the
felt
car, like,
so
all right, here we
bad.
go. Vibs
Yep.
threw
He
up
is-
again.
Shout out Mike Wallace, horrible driver.
That was so bad.
bad driver. But so.
What night was? Who got eliminated that
It was Vibs had
Me. That was my
been eliminated. It was his first night.
night? Should I tell?
I
I
think
tell
Willie
the
did
story?
some
Okay,
camp.
so
camp
I was
pranks.
like, so basically, Vibs got eliminated. I was like, I'd been in, eliminated for 2 days. So Bree and I were plotting when
Oh, so Bree was in on this.
Bree was in on this,
Oh,
and
good to know.
well, kind of. It would have been a lot
you
of
want
better
that one.
I
visual.
don't think Bree was on this one.
No, she was. Grace,
this
was
was
just-
Grace and I were plotting all day. We were
Oh,
just
Grace
like,
was too.
This
I mean,
definitely
by
seems.
the way,
like
it
Billy, you were
was
like,
not-
oh, I'm gonna do this, and they were like, okay.
Yeah, no, that's
They were just sitting there.
I
being
can't
like,
imagine they were like, yeah.
sure.
and Bree was also.
Talk about what
angry.
you did.
Okay,
Say
just
what you
need to-
did.
Here's what happened.
you're-
We were gonna go to the camp.
This
and-
night at camp
we were
just was me, Sydney,
Really passing
Jordan.
the buck on
We were-
this one right now.
You want
I
me
know,
to tell us,
because-
like, this is
no,
taking a
well,
long
because the thing is,
time.
so basically we were gonna play a prank on everyone who's in the camp, make a bunch of noises and bear noises in the camp, and like mess with Tommy was the target.
Which you were told not to sleep outside because of bears, right? Is that true? Weren't you told to like were there bears?
Oh, yeah.
There were bears. We were not allowed to leave our trash outside.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
there
you were
were
told, but like you
coyotes,
were
too.
warned. That
Yes, yeah. We
I
had
mean,
bear
we slept
mates.
in
And
the
we heard
tent, so
coyotes,
we were-
too.
Yeah, you weren't in like a
Yeah.
fucking
Okay,
bubble.
and there were also locals driving dune buggies that were trying to
Okay,
flip our
well-
dock carts.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't know whether they're meth heads or.
The bear prankers had no idea about that.
Yeah, bears, coyotes, and rednecks.
So
Or
so
You just said bear prankers. You're again seeming to.
well,
Plural.
the thing was we had this plan, and I was telling everyone
This
around-
isn't we. This isn't the royal eye.
Okay, so
Like,
now
this
it's
is-
me. No, okay, I'll tell it. So I was like telling people, hey, I'm going to sneak to the camp, very obviously to everyone in the crew. Did everyone know?
The
Was it
crew
pretty
knew?
obvious?
I mean, you were saying it a million times. I mean, we were just like, yeah, go.
Like, hey,
How far? And
I
how
don't know
far
what
did
you're
it take you
doing,
to get
go.
to the camp?
it was like a mile.
Wait, Billy, the crew knew, and they okayed it?
They didn't okay it. It's not like they said, oh, yup, check. They were just like, Billy was
I was
drunk and
trying
going,
to
yeah, I'm
walk
going to
a
do this.
mile.
Like, sure, Billy, do whatever
It
you
was
want.
less than a mile, and it was.
It was about a mile.
It was a mile, yeah,
It's
it
like
was
a
a
mile.
It was.
It was pitch
far,
black.
and it was
Okay, the
windy
night-
roads.
the cover
was,
of
the fact
night.
that Billy even made it is
He's impressive, extremely impressive.
Well, thank you.
You had to go in the back way.
Billy's like,
Billy, you went
yeah,
the
some
back
Well, you know,
way.
I'm very good trekking through the woods. I would have been very good
Can you
at
go
the
the
show.
back way?
And then what did you do?
Basically, I was looking for some like woods action that I'd been deprived from eliminated earlier. which is,
At
I
3 in
mean,
the morning.
Not the phrase.
So what did
It
you
was
do?
not
So you
three.
went to their tents.
no, so we went to the tent. So I
No,
thought
you went to the tents. Nobody else went
Yeah.
to the tents.
You went to the
It was
you
just
went
you.
to
Me and my
You have that lie. You have
personalities.
that lie smile going on. I know
went
you're
to
lying.
me
It
and
was
Sydney
just
instead.
you.
I know it was just me.
Okay.
Just you with no cameras, no phone.
Well, I
this was
was
for the
thought-
love of the game.
Okay, so I
This was
thought
not
content of his
someone-
This
mind.
wasn't for content. This
I
was
thought
for the love of the game.
someone would meet me at the camp taking a video from all the seeds I planted amongst the crew
Yeah,
to
3
make
in the
some
morning.
content.
3 in the morning.
It was like 3 in the morning. We were ready to go to bed. We're not like, hey,
Everyone
let's
was
go film
up
Billy.
because I got picked up.
Everyone's
Okay.
probably like, shut the fuck
So I started. Okay, so
I think it was later.
this what happened.
I think it was like 4
No, it
a.m.
was not.
No, it was not.
I-
It was late.
It was not that late.
Yeah,
it was the latest.
sounded-
It
one.
was like
It
2.
was, it was like, it was like, two, it
really
was like
late.
2 or 3.
It was
Yeah.
so
really late.
basically I had gotten so apparently you had moved tents.
No,
No,
I was
he
always in
always
the
in
same
that tent.
tent.
Didn't someone throw a frog in your tent?
No.
Nope.
Not that we know of.
Classic.
Sydney
I
and
think
I
it was
were
that
always
Billy
in that
flew
tent, and
through a
Tommy was
frog-
always in
through a
there.
Am I
frog in the
crazy?
tent.
Didn't Sydney throw?
He did.
Yeah.
No.
No,
All right, let's cut to the chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut to
anyways,
the- cut
you
to
and
the
me,
chase.
Okay, so I started
like-
scratching on a tent that I think is Tommy's. I
And
started
you were doing
growling.
something.
I was growling and
Yes.
scratching on a tent, pretending to be a bear.
For a very long time, by the way. This went on for like 10,
What was it? What did it sound
Okay,
like?
not 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it did.
What was the bear sound?
Do it, Billy.
A baby bear. Yeah. What was the sound?
No, it was not. It was creepier than that.
All right, so we should add, Billy didn't go to my tent. He went to Sydney and
I
Jordan.
went to the wrong tent. I went to the wrong tent.
Billy,
It was
can we
bad
get the real
miscalculation.
noise?
I
Jordan's
don't
saying
rem-
that's
That
not
was
what
not
it
the real
was.
noise.
What? Can you make an
It
imitation of
was
the
like
noise?
a mixture of the way, and Sydney said this because she's like outdoorsy. It was
There
like
was
a
also
mixture of
monkey-
she said a person on drugs and a bear combined, like a
Alcohol's a
rabid
drug.
human being. She
There was also
described
some
it as.
monkey noises. There was some
No,
monkey
there was no
noises.
monkey. It was
Very,
like a
very
rabid
indigenous
human
to Scranton,
being.
PA.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that would have fooled everyone.
But it's not funny now. It wasn't funny the next day. I was like, oh, that was not funny. No one.
Also, can I?
Well,
I
Jordan,
just
how
say-
can you say maybe from your
Yeah.
perspective, how was it for you leading up to that, and then what were your guys' emotions afterwards? Because I know it was emotionally charged for everybody.
Yes.
at the camp.
Okay, so I'll make this short. So we're on day like 3 or 4. We are delusional. We are angry. Like we're living in the woods. We're just on edge. Not in a good mood. No sleep because the night before Ronan had woken us up. So we're on like 4 hours of sleep. Sydney and I go to bed. It's like 3 in the morning. All of a sudden we hear a rabid human being scratching at our tent, shaking our tent. He shook our tent, and Sydney wakes me up and she's scared. Imagine the outdoors person terrified.
Sydney
Ah,
said that she would shoot me
Good thing there's no.
if she had a
Yes,
gun.
Sydney said she would have shot him
made
if
that very clear.
she had a weapon
Said if
because she
had a
was
gun,
so
would've
scared.
shot Billy.
And she told me, she goes, Jordan, I just want to warn you right now. This is not an animal outside our tent. This is a human being outside of our tent. So we don't know if we're about to get assaulted, kidnapped, killed. There's no one
Did you
there, by
ever-
the
I
way.
I wasn't
Billy?
in
No, we
that.
had no. We didn't think it was Billy because we were a mile away. It was pitch black.
And you knew about the Scranton ass rapist.
To our defense, there was no one else besides me and Tommy and Sydney at the camp. So if something happened, what are me
So
and
what-
Tommy and
let's-
Sydney gonna take him?
Damn, Debbie's there.
So you
She
whispered.
wasn't there.
Oh.
She wasn't there.
She
at
was
the
making
time.
margaritas in her
So wait,
phone.
And that was the big thing. Like safety,
Also,
safety
Debbie
was promised.
was not
Yeah.
like an armed guard. Debbie was like a
So
6-year-old.
you roaming
nurse.
around the
Yeah.
final council, like, who we voting for? Like, yeah, as if they're ever gonna fucking align with you
Yeah.
on the final
Oh, no,
vote.
I don't think we ever spoke. Well,
We didn't know it was Billy until about like an hour into the situation. We truly didn't know it was anyone from camp until it was like an hour in.
Yeah, so I was on the other side.
Well, you
I-
were fast
I just hear Jordan and Sydney talking. I check my phone at 3 a.m. I was like, so what are these bitches yapping about in the middle of the night? I was like getting angry, and I walk out, and they were like distraught. Like they were like,
Yeah.
Jordan and Sydney were like very like upset.
Did you guys
in the-
know? When did you guys find out it was Billy?
Like an hour after.
No, they mess. I don't think it was an hour because I remember you were messaging some of the people on the production side, and I think some of them were saying we're pretty sure it's
They kept
Billy.
saying we think. They never confirmed it until like an hour in. And I think at that time, after being that shaken up, was not good enough for me.
I think
was
it's
like,
him.
"You think?"
There's a mop in his bed.
I was like, you think? And you
I'm very sorry.
No,
It's one
yeah.
of those things that just like,
The hat.
you know when you like think you have a good bit and then it just goes really, really
Yeah.
bad.
Billy
Sass.
did.
We're asking a
Billy
couple
did
females in the
apologize
woods alone.
profusely. Like,
With
we're good.
security.
You're good, yeah, you are.
Yeah, Billy,
And
we're
we
good.
got- if it was like really horrible, which it was not, you clear name. I know there's been rumors that you did something like heinous.
Well,
classic
there's not
camp
rumors.
prank.
There's not rumors. It's just literally Rico Bosco
I'm just we're
making the
squashing
situation
that,
sound.
and obviously wouldn't have brought it up like you guys are fine.
Yeah, Billy and I are great. He
Yeah.
apologized so many times.
I mean,
But the
literally-
next morning, though, I think it was super intense in like.
tense.
Oh my God, you guys
back
think
here.
that's-
Everyone
I
knew
literally
about it.
thought like I
Because
was.
Smitty was defending them. Smitty, like, what was your perspective of how it all went down? And then, like, you were defending them, like like the crew, like, took them to like breakfast the next morning
Yeah,
to kind of try and
was-
calm it down.
I had to
Go to
go
the
into
dad
the
bathroom.
bathroom. I had to go into the bathroom at the diner we went to just like be like it was so like
Yeah, Hardo Smitty didn't come out
Why
on
were
the
you
pro-
there? Wait,
He
they
was at
brought
the
us all
mansion.
to get
Yeah,
breakfast.
so they let me, Sydney, and Jordan sleep in like the support house that night from like 4 a.m. on because obviously they were like, oh, let's not send them back to the camp or whatever because people were shaken up. And then the next morning, Sass and Smitty got to the house, and then we all went to a diner together, which is when Smitty can take
Is
it.
that how people die in The Sopranos?
I actually had no idea that happened.
Your
Yeah.
one saving grace, by the way, which I think I think we may have talked about this, was not saying you should have done it, but had you like gone and filmed with your
Dude,
phone,
I'm
it would at
literally
least had
telling
something.
I'm literally telling you. I was telling the crew the whole time, yo, I'm
sounds like
going to
nobody
go
was in on
fuck
this with
around
you.
in the camp.
Vibs can attest. Vibs is
Vibs, you're
confirming
zero.
nobody was in on this idea.
I honestly, Billy was
I-
like, Billy was trying to get me in on it. He's like, Vibs, we're going to the camp. We're going to do this. We're going to raid it. And I was like, yep, Billy, I'm right behind you. We're going to do this, man. I'm right there.
Second wave.
We're doing it. We're coming. I'm right behind you. Second wave.
And at the diner, no chance this makes the cut. This is going to get edited out. But I'm yelling at poor Tara, who's the only
This is
like,
staying in.
representative here of like behind the scenes portion.
Yeah, how you
Because-
did you go hard on Smitty on
Yeah.
Yeah, I went Hardo Smitty
like
off
I've never,
camera,
like,
more
I've
on
never
camera.
seen it. We're at the
Because-
diner. We're at the diner, and it's like we're like the only people there. There's like an old couple, like 90 years old.
It's like Tuesday at
and,
9 a.m.
and the waitress is standing there trying to get our drink orders, and Smitty's just yelling. And then I'm like, Smitty, what do you want to drink? Like they're taking our order, and he just turns to the waitress and he just goes, iced tea. And then he just turns back and starts yelling again.
I feel so terrible
Bill-
because it was such in my mind. It was such like a not that kind of thing happening. But I then like if it was like it was a classic campsite prank, which I
Amen.
realized
classic prank.
like
But if you
just.
did it on Smitty and Vibs,
You
Well, if I got to Tommy's tent, it would be so different. He
It'd
would
be
woke
so
up
different, but you didn't have a
screaming and
camera. It was for the
funny.
love of the game.
You
We were in the
think-
middle of the woods, and they were
Yeah,
fucking.
yeah.
You think
Dune
Tommy
buggies.
would not have been worse than Jordan?
Yeah,
Tommy
might
would have
have
been
been.
I don't know
Yeah.
what I would have done.
No, because then I would have been like,
It would have
You
been.
would have had a heart
well, no,
attack.
there was also the point where I like I was gonna be like, Tommy, gotcha, and I should have.
Who?
Look,
Candid camera? Who would have that been to?
I literally.
Look,
Yeah.
the whole situation was fucked because you were being fed beer slug alcohol all fucking day, and we're allowed to.
I mean,
go
he
by
was
this-
drinking. He
was
wasn't being
doing it
fed.
himself.
Yeah, but,
he was
I mean,
feeding
there was
himself.
nothing.
You didn't go and get the beer yourself. Jordan and Sydney were still. Jordan specifically was still traumatized the next day. She's fucking crying. I was furious because I promised my wife that everything is going to be safe here. We were promised safety. We were promised people at the camp who would deal with stuff. There are fucking meth heads with dune buggies going around. I was fucking
Not
pissed.
guaranteed.
That's
man.
unfair. Just because they're small town dudes riding around in dune buggies doesn't mean they're on meth.
They were clipping the fucking
sounds
production
like
golf carts.
Yeah,
going.
it was just
I
dudes
was
having
furious
fun.
because our safety, all of our safety, was potentially at stake, and we were lied to
Smitty took
that
the Papa
people
Bear role for
fucking
sure.
weren't there to
Sounds
help
like
out
you
the people at
scared
the camp.
two old people at the diners. Is what happened.
I
Yeah,
made- I made
I
Tara
will
cry,
say
and I
that
feel
like
bad
Billy.
And my
And
bad.
it wasn't her fault. It wasn't even
my
close to
bad.
her
Wait,
fault.
this is Billy taking credit. Say it. Who's bad?
My bad.
Singular Billy.
I took credit the day after. I was like, I'm
You were still
really
saying
sorry.
we 15 minutes ago.
Well,
Billy did
'cause
apologize.
That's the Billy story. For those
He
who wanted
apologized
to
to
know
you?
what the
He
Billy story.
apologized the moment he saw me. He apologized.
I like literally, I was like,
It would have been funny if Sydney shot him in the stomach, though. Just in the stomach, it would have been funny.
honestly,
Like a
God, she
small
said she would
bear.
have started stabbing through the towel.
Yeah,
it
would've
would have
been
been
funny.
better
when the
if I
story
got
made its
stabbed.
Yes.
When the
that's
story
what
made
I
its
like this,
rounds.
like
But there's no cameras there.
Yeah, it's
because
true.
I told them in
Okay,
the
we
Didn't
know,
you
we
realize
know,
nobody
we
else
know,
was
we know,
there
we
with
know,
you?
we know.
But like,
We know. But
I thought
I
it was
hope
like
that-
a-
I hope
like
it's all
you're gonna
staged.
go
It
film
should
it,
all
right?
stay.
I'm
Not
gonna
a,
score
not
it
a
off.
chance.
when the story
should
made the
all
rounds,
stay in.
when the story made the rounds here, though, the thing that everybody heard was that Sydney didn't make the comment. She's like, "He's really lucky I didn't have a weapon on me."
Yeah,
He
no.
would've
So
been-
we were back. We were back at the
She
support
said
house.
when she camps,
Billy
she
walking
keeps
back to
weapons
camp
on
with
him.
like a machete through his arm, like,
No, but
Fucked up.
Sydney specifically said when she camps and does stuff, even with Barstool, that she goes with the weapon because you need protection, either from the wilderness or when you're alone. The reason why she didn't have protection is because we were guaranteed protection that wasn't there. That was the focus of me being pissed off and yelling at everybody.
But
not
why didn't you think, oh, this is someone from the camp immediately instead of worst case scenario?
Because Viz, we didn't think someone was crazy enough to come at 3 in the morning and
It wasn't 3.
You wonder why they eliminated you so early?
and to freak
I would've
2
won the
girls
whole
out. We were like, who would ever scare Sydney and I? That's weird.
Did not
I
know it
understand.
was your tent.
You guys, I get that, but
Yeah.
it's Billy.
But we didn't, it's like a mile away.
And to Viv's point, like I did do a middle of the night challenge like a couple days before that.
Yeah.
Or like the
Okay,
day
yeah,
before
yeah,
that,
yeah.
So there was
Okay.
like another.
Yeah.
And we had no
literally
sleep.
the night before.
Yeah, we were on 4 hours of sleep. We were exhausted.
Yeah.
And just like on edge.
Once again, very sorry.
But it was behind the scenes drama. And there's also
Yeah.
just one other behind the scenes drama story that I kind of want to bring up. And it was on like the first day. I don't even know what everyone was doing, but because I only saw it from the production side. But like they were like, someone just got on the intercom. So,
Bad look.
Forgot
So
about
an unreal look.
Billy.
That's an argument.
Oh, it was?
Drinking
No, it
urns
was
and
not
still-
Billy.
Yeah, okay.
No, it was
Oh,
me.
what is that?
No, he just.
Oh,
no,
I
Billy
forgot
just got
about
done with
this. I
No,
forgot
Billy just got
about
done with a rant about drinking. He turned, he just knocked
Yeah.
up like 50 beer bottles. No, sorry, Ro,
One.
continue. I apologize.
This was hilarious.
no, but they just said that someone just got on the intercom in the middle of like setting up like one of the first shoots and had like a Mayday call. And like in the production world, like they all took it dead
Well,
seriously. They thought someone died.
overreacted a little bit.
That was you.
I don't know if they did.
Hey, no one
we were in the
overreacts. They
van.
all had their own fear.
We were in the
Sass.
van and I yelled Mayday into the walkie-talkie.
Is that like a childhood dream of yours to do that?
I didn't know what else to say until the walkie-talkie.
Sass, they didn't
Nothing.
know.
Nothing.
Sass,
What about
They
nothing?
didn't know where they were.
They were like,
who was
yo,
on the
some of
thing.
us work on
Oh
the
my
Avengers
God.
cast.
Oh,
I mean,
They were like, we don't know what could have gone wrong.
Yeah, Sass,
fact
they
that
didn't
if
know if it was
Sass-
the meth heads on the dune buggies.
fact that
They didn't know who was stuck that into the thing.
They were pissed.
you hit him with the Mayday call.
It was like what were we even setting up? We were setting up like the cockroach thing.
no, it was the bug smoothie challenge. We're in the SUVs. Everyone for the first time. We pull up for the first time.
yeah.
We're
Right
all
after the
figuring out what
mansion, a
we're gonna
couple
do.
champagne glasses in.
I was a
maybe.
little drunk.
So Sass grabs a walkie-talkie and he just immediately yells, "Mayday!" And the people on the show use pyrotechnics, lifts,
Yeah, no, they
dangerous
do.
shit, and
Very
they
good
all
production
freak the
people.
fuck out.
Well, also,
Hilarious.
at first, everyone was laughing.
It was hilarious.
And then out of nowhere, it was an ambush, and people were like, you must think you're real funny.
You went
I
from
thought that was a funny joke.
it was a
Little
great.
do you know.
Little Mr. Stand-Up.
Yeah, like, I got 60 men down there busting their asses, not
you went
knowing
from
what's
great
going
bit
on.
to scumbag
Yeah.
so quickly. To wrap this up, quick.
Fair enough.
Superlatives. I won't make him too mean. Someone who, that's a nice one. Someone who should do the show again. Get some redemption. You can say yourself.
I would like to play again.
Okay.
I
What
know,
about you?
I know Billy wanted to play. Even he was talking about like next season I'll do this differently or whatever. So I'd
No,
like
you
to
were,
see
you were,
Billy get
you were.
redemption.
I give you a lot of credit. You were genuinely, and we talked about the integrity of the game playing. You were very upset to be eliminated, so I do think you should do it again. We should do it again.
Jordan, I'd like to see her strategy. I thought she did a great job picking her spots. I think she could have done it better. I'd like to see how she did it a second time.
Vibs.
What about you?
I would say Vibs. I would like to have seen him compete more because I know he's a really strong
Yeah, I think
player.
you had a good
Challenges are
strategy
my
to cut
strong
off.
suit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yep.
wish I would have done that.
Sass.
I'd like to see Tommy again. I want to see if he can pull it off again.
What about yourself? Would you do it again?
Like it's kind of one of those things where in the moment you're like some of the stuff you're like, ah, this fucking sucks. But like after it's like
That's the case with our other shows. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know much surviving Barstool. It's a condensed environment, but you were like it was maybe miserable at the end. But like Barstool's America, people say that like in the moment, like never, and then some would want to do it again. Smitty,
Vibs or Brie. I don't think either of them got a chance.
Also,
Tommy.
I'd say Vibs too. I think like Vibs is good in challenges. And,
Yeah, I think it was a good. Yeah,
Too.
also now we know how the game works.
yeah, but you know,
I mean,
that was
I bet there'll be little. I bet there'll be
There'll be
changes,
changes.
and I bet the environments will
Keep
change.
moving.
Everything.
Truly,
yeah.
truly, put aside all the politicking and all just flat out gameplay. Put aside all like the bad blood. Who deserved to win the most at the end?
Actually taking myself out as a player and
Yes,
me,
that's
You were there for 2
Just like
seconds.
quickly say it.
as a viewer.
Well, I
Who
was
deserved to win
at
the
the
most?
eliminations. I mean, Tommy won.
Okay. Rome.
I honestly think I like Smitty's game the best. I
that's a
thought
fair
that
take.
Smitty had the best motion.
Smitty
game.
did what Jordan did to Sydney with Tommy, if that makes sense. I think he kind of stuck behind her and kind of went in.
Yeah.
Give her a chance for
But I think Tommy played the best game with a target on his back. That's like the New England Patriots.
If you had not been there, had been these three, who would have had the best?
If it was these three, I would have voted for Jordan, especially if she took me out at the last challenge. Well, let's put it this way. If Smitty or Sass won whoever won the last challenge, if they took me out, I would have voted for that person.
Smitty?
Between me, Tommy, and Sass?
I think just who deserved to win the most? You could say yourself.
Either Jordan or Sydney.
Okay, that's a fair reply. She got eliminated at the end because she was a threat to win.
Tommy.
Tommy.
Imagine if I said I deserve to win. That would have been crazy. That's
Uh,
like the farthest thing from
This will be a fun one. Person you never want to camp with again.
Easy.
You can say yourself.
Can't say yourself.
I love camping. People who I've camped with, not in a game show type arena, have liked camping with me. I know that's not
who would
sway.
you not want to camp with
Pick a
again? Though?
name.
Just
Well,
pick somebody.
I had a lot of fun camping with all you guys.
You can say, you know what? You can say nobody. I actually accept that
Yeah.
answer because you were eliminated quick. Well,
Tommy, dude, I wouldn't be able to have withstood all the like fake yells and shit like that. Just like
They weren't fake yells. A lot of those yells were like, those are just natural.
would you
reactions.
glamp with Tommy?
I would go to Joshua Tree with him and get like a cabin together or some shit like that.
Bibbs?
I would camp with Billy in a second. Tommy is the person I would not camp with.
Oh, thank you.
Tommy?
Yeah, I guess Billy.
Smitty?
I know Billy.
I would say I would.
I mean, from like a survival perspective, I would want to camp with.
No, but like, we had a lot of fun that first night.
Billy, you took the only cot there and just like ran into your tent.
Like 30 minutes into the night.
Because I went to bed early.
Who would you never camp with?
And how?
I mean, I don't really have.
I
anyone
loved
that
you,
I would
Billy.
never
It
camp
was an intense night.
I would say nobody. I would say
Would
I'd
you-
like to
would you
camp
re-
with Bibbs and Billy.
If Smitty was your age and you're living in Manhattan, would you room together? Would you be Smitty's roommate?
No.
Okay.
I was a good 16-year-old.
Well, we did have fun.
You guys got hot
Billy,
together.
yeah,
at the
I didn't even know
house.
why. I didn't need to ask Jordan.
That's
Billy. Two more. Who played the worst game in your opinion? And I wouldn't even say Billy because he was eliminated first, but
I mean, I think, but like, just I played the worst game because I don't know. I was just like, yeah, we're
didn't
eliminating
understand
Tommy,
the game, I
right?
guess.
Yeah. I didn't
Ron, who do you
understand.
think played the worst game? Yeah, well, mean.
It's impossible to say, but you have to say Billy because, like, taking the cot at the beginning, like, you can win that social interaction by saying, hey, you have the cot. And it's like, good guy, Billy. But it was Alpha Billy, and that's, I mean.
Well, I was the only one who knew the cot existed.
Exactly.
No,
I know.
you
I feel you.
You weren't. Everyone knew it
definitely
existed.
Who found the cot?
You should have given it
I'm
to
saying
everyone.
Everybody saw the cot there.
I was the
and
only
you,
one who went through all the stuff and found
Worst
the cot.
Billy?
We
Billy,
were
he-
right
He
there.
literally said he wanted me gone right away, and that's what got him out.
Which you did. You saw the footage. You did end up saying that.
He hasn't seen
Around
the
the
footage
fire?
yet.
Okay, to Tommy. Worst?
Yeah. I mean, Billy like just played the stereotypical guy who goes home first on Survivor game. Or it's like every season there's one guy on Survivor where it's like, why is he trying to lead the camp? Like every time someone on Survivor is like, all right, I'm going to be the shelter guy. I'm going to provide for all of you. They always go home. It's
Yeah.
always like, how do
They do.
people keep doing it? And
I don't watch it.
Yeah, Billy holding.
I meant on, yeah.
Billy holding a can of beer and ordering Jordan and Tommy and Sydney to pick up firewood that he didn't pick up himself.
All right, let's be real. There was B-roll instructed to be done.
You knew that the night before, too.
Dude, you don't have to be a dick in the B-roll.
Sass?
Yeah, I mean, probably Billy.
Billy, just because he didn't even try to make friends with anyone in the first.
But also, not to only say Billy, I would have liked to see better early on strategy gameplay from Bree and in the first couple episodes of Sass.
I think Bree did have. I think Bree's strategy, whatever she wanted to do, didn't like take right off the top, and she was kind of left alone.
I wish Bree, me, and Sass would have done more of an alliance, but still,
Yeah.
the camp had numbers.
I'd love to see a different strategy from you if you'd want to do it. Now, it'd be tough to run that back. Rules on this show for season 2, assume there will be, probably different anyway.
Yeah.
And also, I would like to see Sydney with a different. Just my take as a viewer. I think Sydney's strategy was not great. I think just needing to win each time is not a great strategy. And I think she kind of had. It was kind of coming for her. Someone was going to cut her off. And you could sense it throughout the show, like unfair because I sort of knew how it was going to happen, but I think a viewer who might have got the vibe, like Jordan's probably going to cut Sydney's head
Yeah,
off.
her power stressed me out because she would go like manic right before elimination. She'd be like, Vibs, Tommy, Sass.
Yeah.
And I was like,
But she admitted on her after,
Yeah,
she's like, I talk too much.
Yeah.
Wait, Jordan, real quick.
Yes.
My question now that the bear story's out,
Yes, Billy.
how did you, the night before eliminating Sydney, be like, Sydney was there with me being attacked, then eliminate her?
Playing a game.
Because I know how to separate the game show and friendship, real life and fake life. And money, I'll do anything for money. So.
And I will say, like, if I won that last challenge after like being with Sydney and Jordan in the house, like watching them like hug like I would not have been able to take either of them out. Like I thought taking Sydney out was the right move there. I never even considered bringing that up to Jordan because I was like, there is no chance she's going to do that. And then she's going to be like, fuck you, Tommy. Like, you're trying to split
Which
us up
made it
after that.
even more shocking.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
that's a
why.
great moment.
That's why it
more
was
shocking to us.
I will
than
say,
to-
Billy, after that happened to me, it put an edge on me. Like, I got pissed, and that actually helped me. I couldn't say this before because we weren't going to talk about it, but, like, you doing that, that's why I won that challenge because I was so pissed off. And that's also why my mindset changed because I was like, we're in a game show. This
And
isn't
you were
fun
manhandling tarantulas after
Yeah,
that,
I was like,
too.
this is-
Damn, look at that.
fun
Because you
So-
did that, she was mad. She eliminated
Yeah.
Sydney,
So,
and then she
like-
lost to
Billy
Tommy, and then
football, the
Tommy
white
won.
knight.
So Billy's
Thank you,
winning.
Billy
Tommy
football.
won.
No, literally, I was like, this
Can
isn't
I-
fun anymore. Like, this is not
can-
fun. This is, like, actually
Last
annoying.
last
and
thing.
I want to be done.
This is not. I do not think the answer should be Billy on this. I think there's one obvious answer. Biggest goofball on the show. There's an obvious answer. The biggest goof.
I think it's Sass, dude.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think Sass.
Oh, I actually don't. I was not going to vote Sass.
Like, what do you mean goof?
I think it's Smitty. I think Smitty's biggest goof on the show.
Sass.
What type of goofing are we talking
His
about?
Smittyisms, his comments.
He had the
his-
best one-liners, but Sass is
The last episode, I will say, the highlight of the episode was in the beginning when Smitty's at the mansion. But
You were so upset.
that was the highlight of like.
Because
the
he
whole
was
show.
bugging out, too.
Yeah.
He was,
Oh, I
they're
thought I
gonna
wasn't going to
fucking-
compete.
It was hysterical.
The
I was
historical
done.
references, like drink every time he has a historical reference, drink every time Tommy screams, drink every time that fucking Sass is in the wilderness playing with like a fucking like ball or something like that.
And Machiavelli, man.
drink every time Vib says, I'm from Indiana.
Yeah. Every time Jordan's wearing some sunglasses,
I
making
know
a
I
bougie
did
decision.
how much I wore
allowed
those. I
sunglasses.
hated that.
Sunglasses were big.
Smitty wins the goof
I
award.
had makeup on. I wanted to cover
That's
my
fair.
face.
That's all out of love. It just you when Smitty's on camera, the Smittyisms they will rain down. Smitty will say Smitty
Hey.
things.
Don't let the cat get fatter than you'll go blind.
There it is. Yeah, there it is. Last thing. Are you actually gonna retire? You're not gonna play again?
I'm retired. I'm riding off.
Nah, dude, he's
Wait a second. Wait. What would the minimum prize pool need to be for you to come out of retirement?
Maybe I need a lump sum to play again. It's like, Boston Rob came back
Shut
for.
the fuck
He
up.
came back for season 4. He got paid like $1 million.
Okay, well,
Hey,
if it was
look
a
at the
50,
camera
not
and say,
have- by the way,
hey,
that is
Dave, I need a
not
lump
gonna
sum
happen.
to play.
are you,
That
like
will
25K
not
is a lot of money. If it was
I can
25K
promise
again,
that one.
yeah, if it was 25K again, you wouldn't play.
You would do it.
Boston
You would do it for a 25K
No,
guarantee.
Boston Rob is not a cop. Good. What I don't know
Right?
if I would do. I don't think I would do this show again. I'm retired. I mean, if
No, you're
one
not, dude.
if one show would drag me out of retirement, it would probably be Surviving Barstool or a new concept.
You're retired. Just
I don't know, like what would
Yeah.
be the
What if
point
it's
of me?
say it's this is a hypothetical. This is not in production, but say it's like an Amazing Race where it's not an elimination. It's not a vote
Oh
to
no.
eliminate.
Like, I don't think I would do.
You would only do a vote to
I
eliminate
only do
show?
the. I'm only.
Psychological stuff. He's not good at the
he's
physical
not.
challenge.
Tommy Smith.
Like even
likes to be-
Barstool versus America, there is the eliminations, but like I would be so bad at those challenges.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that, I don't think that'd be worth it for me to do. This is fun. Like I loved this show. Like I loved the structure of it. I loved the strategy of it. I liked everything about it. I just don't. What's the point of me doing it again? Like I don't think I'd be able to win again.
I'll give you final thoughts. You're the host of the show. Anything you want to say?
Dude, it was the level that everybody bought into the show was what made the show great.
Absolutely.
And I mean, from a production standpoint, from the creation of it standpoint, and especially the 8 people that came into the wilderness and like bought in on all the challenge with the roach challenge. I was like, they're probably not going to do this. Like, someone's going to opt out. But everybody played ball throughout the entire time, which is like such a testament to everybody making this shit happen. By the end, everybody was on board. So it's like, that's what I think you need to make these shows pop, make them work, and kudos to everyone.
Yeah, these aren't heroes or first responders, but you paused your content for 5 days. You get eliminated maybe
No
first.
phones for
better.
5 days.
Yeah, you
The
just
people who actually made the show. I mean, Rowan did an absolutely great
Yeah.
job.
Here, clap it up.
Cheers,
For
thank you,
every-
guys.
Shout out to the producers, but the actual crew that was there was fucking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were awesome.
From Randy
awesome.
to the
Up and down.
challenge
Dude,
guys.
Randy.
Survivor people.
If I get married again, Randy's my best man. I love him.
It did feel like there was a moment a few days in where like, oh, we're just making like a legitimate
Yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Tommy Smokes. You've won Surviving Barstool. You've won the Dozen Trivia Tournament 2. You've won the Lowering the Bar Tournament. You won, what was the name of the video game thing with
Nav
The
Arcade
arcade
Classics,
challenge.
me
Yeah,
and
that
Ribs.
doesn't count.
Championship never even went on
You know,
YouTube.
actually, I'm going to give Sass Final Roy. That doesn't.
Hey,
Yeah,
Sass.
that one does.
Also, I
Say
want-
that to my face,
Eddie
motherfucker.
said you won Barstool versus America on the first. You did not even compete
I
in
haven't
Barstool
even-
You know what?
America.
You gotta stack the deck.
And now you've won Barstool's Most Dangerous Game Show presented by Mattress Firm. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you, Jeff. Great job.
The
Jeff.
ones who aren't here, this was a blast to the after shows. More reality shows coming down the pipeline.
Yes, sir.
People made some comments like, where's this show? Where's that show? Might be coming very soon. That's it. Thanks to Mattress Firm. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next reality show or the next season of this show.